First off, rest in peace, neighborhood nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Heel gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, Faith over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
Well, damn, would you look at that? Somebody is alone. And you know, it's a very bad thing when I'm alone. But we here. It's another episode of your favorite pod, the 3-Man Weave podcast. I am AJ, Mr. Solo Dolo himself, bringing you another episode 223. Who's going to call this one the Achilles Heel? Because I was going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and how he pump faked everybody. But since I'm alone, who knows where this podcast is going to go? So it might end up having a different name. But let's get all the formalities out of the way. You can catch us on all your major podcast platforms. 3-Man Weave on YouTube. Search 3-Man Weave podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like. If you're in the comments right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If we get a whole bunch of thumbs up on this episode, I'm going to assume that I'm y'all favorite guy. So go ahead. Let's make this one of our most liked episodes. Matter of fact, send it to everybody you know and tell them, hey, it's this little yellow motherfucker on the internet talking some shit, and y'all should go check him out. So get everybody to like, subscribe, hold me down. Let me prove my worth. Let me show that I'm carrying my weight because, you know what I'm saying, I got the best attendance out of everybody. So at least let me know, hey, I know what the fuck I'm talking about too sometimes. Hey, so email us any questions y'all got for us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. Follow us on all your socials at 3manweave_, Instagram, Twitter. You know, check our post out. Send us some DMs with any, you know, sports related topics, any music related topics, any movie related topics, any relationship related topics, any life related topics, any goddamn thing, because we can talk about it all. You know, we are some traveled brothers. We know what we talking about, especially me. I like to say I'm the smartest, even though I'm the youngest and the best looking. But that was good. I have a nice little drink here. Let's see. What more do I have to say? What more intros do I have to do? Because the other two favorite guys aren't here. So let me just go ahead and start this shit off. Hey, Ja Morant made his comeback, man. I think that's one of the things that we really need to go ahead and just jump in here and talk about, because Ja Morant made his comeback, and did he make a comeback? 35 minutes, 34 points on 50% shooting. Hey, boy was cooking, and he got them Pelicans up out of there with a game winner. That's the shit you love to see. But me personally, I got an issue. You know, I understand time, the energy is high. It's his first game back. He got, a lot of that energy, ready to get the game out there, shook off the rust. Well, it wasn't no rust. He had to show that it wasn't any rust. But, after the game, he kind of said, I'm a dog, which he is. He's a dog. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But then he said, I keep receipts. Of what? Keep receipts of what? It's not like Geno Smith where, they wrote me off and I ain't right back. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like Teddy Bridgewater where your leg, almost have to get amputated and you come back and you make yourself a nice, long, sustainable career somewhere. This is self-inflicted. This is shit you did. I hope you kept receipts so you can change your behavior. That's all we care about. Nobody ever said anything about Ja Morant on the court. And this is the problem. I understand as a high level athlete, you gotta create your own chip on your shoulder, but also you have to have the wherewithal. Hey, nobody ever had a problem with you on the court. No one ever said, "Hey, John Morant, you can't hoop. You so worried about being in the streets and being a thug and this and that. You can't hoop." All people have ever said is, "Hey, Ja, that dumb stuff you doing is going to cost you your career. It's going to cost you millions. It's going to cost you your opportunity to be the face of the NBA. It's going to cost you the ability to get endorsements. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you." And that is the only thing that people have been saying. And I guess that wasn't enough for Ja Morant. He, like I said, he felt that, I guess, people were slighting him or whatever the case may be, but I don't see it that way. I see it as, hey, you did some dumb stuff. You got reprimanded for your dumb stuff. And now you're back. And guess what? That is perfect. Hey, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You you're only 24. You have the opportunity to show, hey, I've learned from my mistakes. I've matured. That shit, that ain't gonna happen again. And let's move on. Let's not try and build a narrative that, you know, quite honestly, John, not only does it not exist, if it does exist, it's only a narrative that you created, sir. So I appreciate, you coming back, balling out, doing your thing. That's what you're supposed to do. You held it down, you came back. All that other stuff, trying to blame people for this, and that, or whatever the case may be, but that's not really necessary. So, welcome back, Ja. Hope you keep your head on straight and continue to ball out. Like you proving that, out of that draft class, you one of them ones. But let's go to the flip side of things. And Zion Williamson. So it's been reported that Zion Williamson's contract is no longer guaranteed, considering the amount of games that he has played. And it's very devastating because another one, you also had the opportunity to be considered one of those ones. You were like they were pushing you in to be one of those next elite players that was going to get all the marketing, that was going to get all the deals, that was going to get all the primetime games, that was going to get all the endorsements. Then you got hurt. Then you got hurt. And you have issues with your weight. Then you have stuff going on this off season, with Mariah Mills and things that you like to do. And then now it's still showing that, hey, you not in the best shape. And that's, to me, the most disheartening thing about Zion Williamson. He was, talking about, potentially wanting to leave. There were trade rumors, all of that stuff. But to me, Zion, you have never held up your end of the bargain. You've been hurt. You've shown flashes, and I get that. But on a stage where John Morant is making his comeback, you go out there with 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. That's your competition. This is showing to be Brandon Ingram's team, and you're just a high-paid, explosive guy who has all the traits, who can do all these things, but you're not showing the commitment, the willingness, and got the want to really make this your team. And that's an issue because you are the number 1 draft pick. You are the guy. You are the one with the pedigree. You were the one that they were talking about as coming out of college, the best prospect since Bron, this, and that. And I know, that generational prospect conversation gets so overblown. But, I mean, yeah, Like you had the hype. You had the hype. You've had the hype since high school. You had all the, the clicks, all the social media, hype, everything. Then you went to Duke. You had, your explosive plays in Duke, blew out your whole goddamn shoe, my boy. But what else have you done? Like you've had some very nice games and you've shown the potential that you have. But we're at a point now, Zion, bro. It might be, we might be getting past that potential territory. You might be getting like, this is what, year 5 for you? We're past the potential. We're like, we need consistent performances from Zion Wilson. We need a 60-game season. We need that. We need in shape Zion. We need the imposing his will Zion. We need all of that in order for us to actually start considering you as a viable option as an NBA star. Yes, you've shown flashes. But to me, that was how long ago? Your best season was in 2020, I think 2021, that season, your sophomore season. So my question is, when do we give up on Zion? When do we start treating Zion like we treat some of these other, number 1 overall picks, number 2, 3, 4, 5 overall picks, where it's just like, you're good, but I'm not building around you. You're good, but you're not worth the attention that you bring. You're good, but you're not worth the money that we're paying you. And I think he's really towing that line of, what tier of NBA player he's going to be in. And so I think Zion Williamson, you are like, with your contract not being guaranteed, you are really playing around with fire, especially with your injury history and the amount of games that you have played in your career, of tricking it off. And from the offseason, apparently that's what you like to do. But this ain't the one that you want to trick off. You don't want to trick off this bag. And, Stephen A's been making fun of him. I've told him he's needed to get in shape. So many people have told him he needed to get in shape. But now, like, hey, you can't help somebody that don't want to help themselves. Zion, you got to do it. And my second favorite player, Hill's favorite player, a lot of people's favorite player now. Hey, Ant, don't get caught slipping now, dog. We love you. Don't get caught slipping. Tighten up. Tighten the fuck up. Speaking of, Teen Titans, let's see if I can do a little transition. We got the Aquaman release coming out, because since Hill and Cannon ain't here, I'm a big superhero flick kind of guy. And, DC, Marvel, all of that. Those are my things. So the Aquaman is coming out. And apparently, with how Aquaman's been doing, Jason Momoa has already said, hey, this is probably his last film as Aquaman, and they're probably going to recast it. And to be quite honest, this is not good news for DC, because they've been on their last legs as is. And them recasting Aquaman, to me, almost just like, well, what are we doing this for? Yes, I understand you put your budget into it, all of that. But there has not been a DC movie where you've been like, oh my gosh, this is a hit. This is it. This is where we could, lay the foundation and build the groundwork, and we can make something happen. And I hope it's good, but DC needs more than good to buoy future films, because obviously they've been doing a terrible job. DC does a terrible job at character development. So it's almost like every single time they give us a movie, we have to get a whole, like, every time you give us a DC movie, you do not have to give us the origin story and start at the beginning. and it just makes everything redundant. It makes every single Batman redundant because we know how Batman started. Give us a fresh story. We know how, like, we know your Superman story. We don't need that. Flash, it was so much surrounding Flash. It was almost like they just gave up and just said, here, let's put it out. They haven't given us a good villain. We need something where it's just like, okay, this is something that we can get interested in and become invested in. Give us a story, give us something to, really build upon and enjoy as DC fans. It's so easy. You have the blueprint. You have all of the comics out there. Take so much of the story from the comics, build it up, and don't just try and throw everything at us in one film. Build up a story, build an anticipation, give us a cliffhanger, do something. But I do feel like, this might be kind of a closing portion, and like, hey, this might be it. And I truly don't mean that just for DC. Unfortunately, the way things have been going, I'm not sure the superhero universes are going to be able to sustain with the lazy story writing that we've been getting. And I mean this for Marvel as well. I think Marvel had, like, ever since Endgame has dropped, there's been underwhelming releases, shall I say. I think that with all the work that Marvel put in from Iron Man all the way to Endgame really gave us something beautiful. You always had, your solo hero flicks, an Avengers movie to tie everything together, and you have some moments, to kind of culminate and do everything. And all of that work over, I think, what was it, 10, 15 years or whatever, came down to, excuse me, guys, that is my robo machine. Not supposed to go off. Shut up, bitch. That was very unprofessional, but it was not time for that to go off. It's supposed to go off at 11. But yes, they perfectly built stories and gave you Easter eggs through every single movie, tied everything back, and actually wrote movies with an end in mind, with an end game, basically. Every single movie they gave you had a part in an end game. And that's the problem now. And yes, I understand they may be building it, but the writing is so lazy in Marvel now. It doesn't give you a feeling that, hey, this is leading us to something. And then now with, Jonathan Majors being dropped, from Marvel, it almost feels like, hey, now you're starting over. This was going to be your Thanos. This was going to be the culminating kind of guy that, that we were going to get, Kang the Conqueror. And now you have to, start over. And I don't know if this is a gift or a curse, but maybe you can use this opportunity to kind of sit back, reassess what you're going to do, and really do it right. Because with Marvel right now, I don't understand what your direction is. And I think what their issue is, they're trying to get a piece of the streaming game. So they gave us all of these, Disney Plus, series that are going to tie into, these Marvel universes. But to me, it's not helping, because that's not what we're coming for. We're coming for the Marvel movies. If you want to do your Disney Plus series, do that. Do your Disney Plus series as as another universe. Connect all your Disney Plus series to, some culminating, Marvels, Miss Marvel, or your own kind of, Avengers or whatever. But stay focused. Do your movies, because that's your bread and butter, and that's what got you here. And doing them great, doing them well, giving us story, doing character development. That's what got you here, and that's not what we're getting anymore. And that's the biggest problem. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way Infinity Wars brought in a lot of casual fans. Black Panther brought in a lot of casual fans, and then everything kind of culminated to Endgame. I think that is what kind of changed their their direction, because now they're trying to appease everyone. A lot of times you had to just kind of be a Marvel head to be like, oh, I'm gonna go see this, I'm gonna go see this, and see all of them, watch them in order, see it every time and release in theaters or whatever. But knowing that they had their fan base was like, okay, we can give you a little bit, of pieces here and there. We can develop Iron Man over, the first three. We can give you, Captain America's and develop. We can give you all of this and then bring it all together in an Avengers movie that's going to lead to another one. And shit, even Ant-Man. Ant-Man was, really good, from, early on. And that was something that was really good. But to me, I think now they've done entirely too much for trying to connect all of the universes and also tell a story to, lead you on. Like right now with all the multiverse stuff that they're doing, I don't understand what they're trying to do. They don't, like, it doesn't have a direction. And to me, what I feel like is they're writing these movies, and then when they get to the next one, how can we make it connect? Take all of your ideas, put them together, and just figure out how you can get this timeline and this new phase to mesh. And I think once they do that, they'll be in a good space. But if they can't figure out how to do this, I think this might be, I won't say the end because it'll never be the end, but this is going to be a decline as we know it in superhero flicks, because it's just not good quality. It's just not a good product. And quite honestly, it's been underwhelming. And for all of you that don't know, I'm the biggest Deadpool fan in the world. And if they do not do Deadpool right, I'm done. I just don't see, like, if I can enjoy my favorite Marvel character of all time, Deadpool and Spider-Man, my two favorite, Marvel characters of all time. If they can't do it right, I'm done. They've given us, the hints. Okay, it's gonna be rated R. They're gonna do it right or whatever. It's a lot riding on these next few films. So DC, you better make something happen with Aquaman. Marvel, you got a couple chances, because Marvel's flop. And that's not what you want. So you got to figure it out. We can't keep having these flops, because that's not what you're known for. You're known for having some of the highest grossing films ever, like back to back to back, because you've given us quality work. So this is what we need. And so let's see. Guy Ross said after Chad died, man, shit ain't been the same. Yeah, I get that, but even outside of Black Panther, I think that they were just it was still starting to kind of just be like a downslide. Like, hey, what is this? I just don't understand it. And Ross said, yeah, because not like they gave us Daredevil or the Punisher on the big screen yet. The Punisher, I believe that came out on, I think it Punisher when it came out on Netflix, the series, amazing. If they could somehow try and figure out how to repurpose that into movies, it would be great. I think Daredevil, how they had it, with I can't remember what other show it was, Daredevil, and what else was on. They both dropped on Netflix. Daredevil, that should be just like a separate universe, and you can keep all those separate. Daredevil and oh man, what is the big black bald dude? What was his name? It was that. And yeah, All right, but yeah, this is how you keep your universes separate. You know, you can kind of blend those things together, and people can make appearances. Luke Cage, thank you. People can make appearances in Iron Fist. Yes, do all of these things separate, and if you want to, people can come together, cross universes, all of that stuff. But stay focused. When you start trying to do too much, to me, that's when you start losing your product, and to me, that's the problem. And I'm not sure if you're talking about when I said Punisher. To me, I thought the Punisher was great. I thought the Punisher was really good for what they were trying to do. And I think now that they've taken so much time off, it'll be kind of hard to reboot it. But I think it had a really great story. But to me, that's how you kind of keep your hands in every single pot. Don't try and bring Avengers stuff, like Marvel Avengers stuff, to streaming, and then now we got to watch this streaming stuff to be able to understand what's about to happen in this next Marvel movie. No, keep all this shit separate, but do great work. Luke Cage, aka Dark Hill. Hey, that's a little fucked up. You lucky Hill ain't in the comments, because I would have gassed that one, because that shit's funny. But yeah, like, you had Daredevil, you had Luke Cage, you had Iron Fist, you had Jessica Jones, and they were damn near all in. They were all in the same area, Hell's Kitchen, all of that. People were talking up. There you go. They're all talking about kind of the same villains, the same stuff that's going on. That's your universe. If you want to do some multiverse stuff and make some cameos and stuff like that, do that. But let the Avengers beat the shit out of New York City and Manhattan. Let the Defenders, let those guys work around Hell's Kitchen and all of that. Let your Disney Plus crew do their Disney Plus crew thing. But it's fine. Stay focused. Focus on your writing and stop trying to blend all this stuff in and try and just be greedy. Because you can be greedy and get your money. You can do that. But you can also give us a good product too. Don't focus on the long game. So I guarantee you, if you do it right, it's better than if you just try and focus on getting the money now. Because doing it right and focus on the long game is what got you here. That's what got you Infinity Wars and Endgame. Focusing on the long game. So whatever this next phase is, focus on it. Focus on it. Speaking of the long game, after the in-season tournament, the Lakers been kind of, they've been kind of falling off. Got Hill asking for trades and shit now. It's looking a little bit tough. But I'm I want to talk about the Lakers getting a lot of heat for hanging the banner. The Lakers organization and LeBron, of course, are getting a lot of heat for hanging the banner, and they're talking about, LeBron, he's one of those participation trophy babies, and Kobe and Jordan would have never signed off on hanging this banner, and because it's not the real thing, it's not a real championship. I hate to say this, but I got to shoot the Lakers and I got to shoot LeBron some bail. The NBA, it's not about a participation trophy. It's about the NBA getting something to sell. It's about selling a product, and being able to sell a product, you have to have buy-in for people to sell it. And yes, make sure y'all check out LLC. I believe Mondays at 8:00. Please correct me, Hill, if I'm wrong. But yes, LLC, Lakers Lounge Confidential. Check out my guys, Hill and Cannon. They be talking a bunch of that Lakers bullshit or whatever it is. But yeah, they know what they're talking about. They might know a little something over there. But yes, back to my statement. You have to have buy-in in order to sell a product. You have to have the people promoting the product believe in it to buy it. Yes, some people can sell some shit that they can believe that they don't believe in, but that's a rare group. So you actually have to have buy-in. You actually have to get people to care about it, and you actually have to have people, feel that it's important, feel that there's urgency, and that it matters for it to actually matter to the masses. And if you don't hang a banner, if you don't celebrate the in-season tournament champion, especially the inaugural in-season tournament champion, and you just blow it off like, yeah, nah, this ain't the real thing, guess what? That diminishes your product. And then the next year, guess what? People are gonna be like, man, that shit ain't the real thing. I ain't worried about this in-season tournament. And guess what? Ain't nobody gonna buy it. Shit. When Amazon bought Thursday Night Football was giving us some terrible matchups. When Amazon bought it, they said, hey, we want some of the best games. And of course, it didn't always turn out to be that way because guess what? The NFL is extremely unpredictable, and it's very hard to say, hey, this is going to be a good team. This is going to be a good team, or this is going to be a matchup, or this is going to be a good game, because there's so much variables that happen. But they kind of, they put their foot down and said, hey, we want to try and get some better games on the schedules. We tired of seeing the Jags and, the Raiders and stuff like that. We want to get some good games. And some of the stuff, you might have thought coming into the season would have been like, okay, that's a solid little matchup right there. That's a solid little matchup. But there's so many variables, so you can't really blame them for that. But once again, you have to at least try. And that's what the NBA is trying to get them to do. And quite honestly, say what you want about script or, stuff being rigged. There was no better team and no better player to win the inaugural in-season tournament than the Lakers and LeBron James. The biggest name in sports, one of the biggest franchises in your sport. Like, it had to happen. It's you have to at least fake it like you care, and you have to at least fake it like it matters. And then my thing about it is we saw the Pacers. The Pacers looked like they wanted to win that. You saw teams that played and looked like they wanted to win it. So let's not downplay it now because you have that narrative that you could say, oh, LeBron, he's just happy to get a participation trophy and he wants to be in a conversation with this person or this person. Oh, this player would have never, celebrated this. No, let's say, hey, this is what you have to do to continue this in-season tournament for it to matter and for it to, continue to bring in the revenue that people want. Outside of that, so what more can you ask for, man? Like, you got some good basketball, and a lot of people liked it, and that's what matters. So you got people bought in. Now you got to keep it up. Speaking of, yeah, I don't need to pause that. Speaking of keeping it up, Joel Embiid, Ross, I'm so glad you're here, dog. Like, Joel Embiid is playing at unprecedented levels. Like, this is ridiculous. He is cooking. Like, Ant-Man came out after the game. He's like, hey, like, what is that? Like, I don't see how they lose a game. Even though Ant-Man, he tried to send him to the Shadow Realm, but once again, he missed it. So Embiid got spared on that one. But Embiid is playing at another level, and it's just like, you got to give him his props. We were giving Jokic his props, during his, like his, as the reigning MVP. You gotta give Joel his props of what he's doing and how he's carrying this team. Him and Maxey right now, it's a hell of a duo. I'm so glad they were able to get Harden up out of there because it just felt like, hey, what the fuck is going on? And it looks like he's having fun. He's dominant. He ain't playing no games. He's on a mission. And all I want to see is I want to continue to see him, continue hooping, balling, and sustain this, because that boy is playing another level right now. And that's the type of shit you love to see, man. This is the type of shit that, hey, this is why we come to watch basketball, man. We want to see some of our biggest names really perform and do some shit that we ain't never seen before. And we got a couple of dudes out there that's doing what we ain't never seen before. Don't none of them play for the Suns, but there's that. So that's all I have for the NBA. But we're gonna get to it. I missed not even a week, but Thanksgiving fucked me up, and now I'm in last place in our pick'ems. And because of that, I haven't given up. Oh shit, let me make sure I got my fantasy lineup set up for the playoffs. Do I got anybody Thursday? All right, nah. Oh, I got Puka going. Damn. Let me make sure I got him in this lineup. All right. But yeah, because of that, I am last in the pick'ems, and I shouldn't be. I don't ever finish last in pick'ems. That's usually Hill's spot. But here we are. So we're gonna start off on Thursdays. Thursday night, man. I gotta go to Rams. I'm just, I gotta go to Rams. No rhyme or reason. I'm not really sold on anything that the Saints have right now. Yes, they're 7-7, so are the Rams, but I just gotta go. I gotta go with the Saints. All right, we got a couple Saturday games. Who they, baby? Yeah, I mean, you see it. You see it. I don't need to say nothing else. We got the Bills and Chargers. All right. So, Bills coming off a big win against the Cowboys. Everybody, jumped back off the Cowboys bandwagon as, they love to do off of just one loss. What happens. Yeah, I'm going to Bills because Eastern Stick ain't got nothing for nobody. All right, the Falcons versus the Colts. This is actually a pretty hard game for me to call because they done benched Desmond Ritter again. So it's I don't even know if we want to call Desmond Ritter a starter, but he was a starter. So I guess it's backup versus a backup, but it's like a backup because if you back up in Desmond Ritter, like, are you really a backup, or is it just you backing up because they drafted Desmond Ritter and not you? So who knows? But I'm going to Colts, man. I know they might be without Michael Pittman Jr. But I still like the things that defense can do. The Falcons defense, they've been playing well, but after what they did last week against the goddamn Panthers, you got to show me something. You got to show me something. And speaking of the Panthers, Green Bay Packers, that is easy. Like, come on, guys. Like, we're not. Are we really going to go Panthers? Are the Panthers going to win another game this season? Shout out to Q. Shout out to my line brother, J Merck. I know y'all not watching, but are the Panthers ever going to win another game? Damn, I live in Charlotte. I should know that. No, they're not. How about that? Titans. No, not the Titans. Sorry. The Texans, the ones who beat the Titans, the real team that should have the Houston Oilers throwbacks versus the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go Cleveland Browns, man. I just feel like the defense is too much. The Texans are hurting right now, man. And it's unfortunate. I love what they were doing this season. Shout out to D'Amico Ryans. He was on track. He was on track to win, Coach of the Year. Just not sure if he's going to get it now. Just kind of with this, things that are going on in Houston, with the injuries that they've had. It's just been tough. And I'm gonna go Cleveland right now because they've been able to kind of just do it on defense and whoever's back there at quarterback. Hey Ross, I'm sorry, man. Hey, you gave us the post, and then it said whoever wins gets to wear the Houston Oilers uniforms. No way, y'all should have went out there and got y'all ass kicked to a backup quarterback in those goddamn uniforms. Because we talking about teams that beat teams, and I'm pretty sure we whip y'all. Yeah, y'all beat us. All right, cool. Once again, I'm so happy y'all beat us. That was the first time y'all beat us since you were born. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I get you 100 push-ups. I do that. My shoulder, man. Yeah. Lost by a field goal. Y'all got losing by a field goal with a backup quarterback. You should be ashamed, Ross. Stop making excuses. You got your ass kicked. Hi. What's up, Jordan? Thank you for joining. But where was I before I was so rudely interrupted by Ross and Williams Jr.? All right. So we going Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. I am going to, man. I don't know how I feel about Nick Mullins, man, but I'm going to Minnesota Vikings on this one just because the Detroit Lions they've been susceptible. I feel like Justin Jefferson, I think he's gonna do a little something. And for my fantasy sake, please let Jordan Addison do what he did against the Bengals this week, because I have Jamar Chase injured, Michael Pittman Jr. injured, and I'm the number 1 seed in the first round of the playoffs. So I can't have no bullshit happen. Please, I need to win. I need to win. I need this motherfucking money. All right, New York Jets versus your Washington Commandos. I'm going to Jets, man. I'm going to Jets. I have no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to Jets. All right. Titans versus the Seahawks. So glad for you to join us, Ross. I'm going to Seahawks, dog. Right. I need to see more. I understand, you're my guy. You are my guy. I'm not hating, but I just coming off a win against Philly. They travel well. I don't think y'all got the secondary to stop them from scoring points. Jacksonville versus all right, same page, my boy, same page. Go ahead, get that high draft pick. But Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm taking the words from some of my guys from There's No Crying in Fantasy. I'll never bet on Baker Mayfield having 2 good games in a row. So I'm going to Jaguars. In a battle of what the fuck is going on, the Chicago Bears and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to Chicago Bears. I know, Kyler's back and stuff like that, but I think Justin Fields and DJ Moore, when they're on, they can be dangerous. And, I like a little bit what I see, outside of, that, the defense. They have a little bit, they starting to show a little bit of life. So I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. We got Miss King in the building. What's up? And we got a little bit of AFC South rivalry going. And just to let you know, Miss King, I did pick the Colts, so y'all better not fucking let me down. God damn it. I need to get back in this race. Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins, a battle of teams that people say can't beat good teams. Let's see. Hold on. Check my phone. All right. So we got the Dallas Cowboys. Hill told me to check my phone, and so this is going to be fun. But this is going to be a quote from him. But we got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Miami Dolphins, the battle of the teams that people say can't be good teams. So now I guess we're going to try and figure out who is a good team, because the team that loses apparently can't beat that other team, which means that you might not be a good team. So with that being said, I am going to go I'm going to Dallas Cowboys. I think with that offensive line, they're going to give Tua hell, and they're going to be able to play, tight enough defense early on in the snap to make shit tough for Tua. They're gonna money some of those windows, and they're gonna make him hold the ball. They're gonna make him hitch a little bit. And I think that's where you're gonna have those issues with Tua, throwing into some tight windows, trying to get the ball around DeRon Bland, and stuff like that. So I'm going the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see. Sunday Night Football. New England Patriots versus the goddamn Denver Broncos. Yeah, I'm going to Denver Broncos just because New England fucking sucks. There's no rhyme or reason about that. Oakland Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, Antonio Pierce got them boys hooping. But AFC West teams don't beat Patrick Mahomes. So simple as that. Kansas City. All right. We got the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles coming off a loss to the Seattle Seahawks. And according to Hill, we getting a little bit of Carson Wentz vibes from Jalen Hurts. Is that what we're getting? One good season, and then we starting to get the fall off. No J. Cole. Is that what I'm hearing? Those are Hill's words, not me. Don't attack me, Eagles fans. I ain't got no dog in the fight, but I will fight. So leave me the fuck alone. But I mean, Carson Wentz, MVP conversation. Knee injury took him out. Never returned back to form. Goddamn Jalen Hurts, MVP conversation. Shoulder injury took him out. Now he's been battling a bad knee. Is he ever gonna return to form? I will say they still are winning games, but is this something to be concerned about? Is Jalen Hurts' level of play something we should be concerned about, especially with what we've been able to see Shane Steichen do in Indianapolis? Because Hill says he's standing on his point. We ain't never wanted to back down, so I know all of that. So what I do want to know is this going to be a cause for concern? Was Shane Steichen the one to really unlock that MVP level of Jalen Hurts? Will Jalen Hurts just be a very good quarterback? Is this a decline? What's going on? And Hill said Jalen Hurts lost the game, then proceeded to throw his teammates under the bus. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That I don't know. To me, that was very concerning to say, just to kind of bring up, hey, these guys aren't dedicated and stuff like that. Because that is the time where, especially after throwing the interceptions that he did, that's the time for you to just stand in the way, fall on the sword for your teammates, and be like, hey, I got to be better. If I play better, we win this game. Calling on guys' dedication, maybe that's something that you should do in a closed door meeting or something like that. But you don't do that to the media. That's literally how Zach Wilson lost the locker room. He said, hey, I didn't have any issue with how I played and stuff like that. And that locker room kind of turned on him. Them boys had Mike White shirts on while you still there. They put your competition on a t-shirt and walked into the tunnel with it on. That's fucking concerning. So don't, Jalen. I know you still have a little bit of cachet now built up because you did take that team to the Super Bowl. But you got to get your act together, my boy. You got to get your act together. All right, we got Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens versus the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm going to Baltimore Ravens. And the reason why I'm going to Baltimore Ravens is because Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. Because some of the favorite football people that I listen to when I get film breakdowns and stuff like that is Dominique Foxworth. And he pointed out something great to me, is that the biggest issue that has been for the San Francisco 49ers are teams that have two good linebackers to be able to play in the middle, to shadow your running backs, play the run, and then also drop back in coverage. And that's when you actually look at the game that the Bengals played against the 49ers, Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson, they were able to give Brock Purdy fits. They were able to, get into the windows while also covering the run. Roquan Smith, since he's gotten to the Baltimore Ravens, has been one of, like, even when he was in Chicago, but he's been on a different level in Baltimore, and that different level has even elevated the play of Patrick Queen. So I think their linebacker play is going to be able to kind of slow down some of the offensive scheme that they want to play on that short stuff. And I think that their secondary is going to be able to hold up. And I think Kyle Hamilton is going to be the X factor in this game, because he can be like a third linebacker, but also covering George Kittle and trying to take George Kittle out of this game also. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, because AJ checked the group. Breaking news. Man, see, y'all don't be on no bullshit. Don't be on no bullshit. I'm not, Ross, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I've already talked about Zion. But yeah, man, I think that the Baltimore Ravens are going to be able to make things tough on the San Francisco 49ers offensively, and then Lamar Jackson just makes shit tough on whoever the fuck he plays. And that's why I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. All right, so according to World Star, adult star Mariah Mills goes off on Zion Williamson. Says his pipe game is weak, and let's see, pause. Says, man, where it go? All right. Says his pipe game is weak, speaks on his weight, get on a treadmill, maybe you'll lose weight. I really don't like that, because you doing all that, and you doing all that for a motherfucker that you say was fucking you trash. I'd hate to see what it looks like when someone fucks you good, because you was tight wilding. So see, Miss King, I didn't want to talk about it, but I've had to. But yeah, like there it goes. If it's shit weak, why you been going so crazy? And we all gonna pause that. But like, nobody believes you. Like, you've been on this man's heels for the past 8 months, but you saying it's trash. Okay, sure. Well, then find somebody else. Wasn't like? Thank you. Thank you from a woman's perspective. Not the same girl that tatted his name and threatened the org. Like, you doing way too much. To me, for the women who try and do that, y'all got to get it. Like, take that out your playbook. Take trying to sully another man's name for how he is in bed, for trying to get back at him. Because guess what? It don't work how you want it to work. Because guess what? The more you say it and the crazier you sound and do that, is only going to pique other women's curiosity, because it's going to be like, hey, ain't no way weak shit got her doing that. So take that out your playbook. Find another way. And with that being said, I am AJ, Mr. Solo Dolo, with the Solo Cup. Find us on all major podcast platforms. 3manweave_ on Instagram and Twitter. Email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook in the Facebook group at 3manweave. At 3manweave group on Facebook. Come in there. We talk a whole lot of trash. We post a whole lot of sports news. We post a whole lot of good questions, and a lot of debate topics. But you better bring your A game, because you will get called out, and we do talk a whole bunch of shit in there. And are we recording next week? What's next week? We will record next week. If it's only got to be me, we will record next week. But I'm AJ. Shout out to the Fours. Thank y'all for joining us. Love y'all. And we out.